Hello everyone. So today's video gonna be a little chatty video. We're gonna talk about a lot during this video. So Memorial Day is on Monday, so I thought I would show you guys the nails I did for Memorial Day. I'm not gonna talk too much about what I'm actually doing. So I will leave everything linked down below. If you are tired of hearing about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, I get it. It was a long trial. Some people might be over it. So if you're over it, I will leave a link for another nail video for you to watch. Anyway, I was surprised at how many people wanted me to do another video on the trial. I'm super excited that you wanted to see more about it because I am more than happy to talk about it. But I was really overwhelmed with the amount of messages that I would get from you guys after certain witnesses came up. Like, what did you think about this one? What did you think about that one? It was just so funny and so much fun to talk to you guys about it. The most requested one I got asked about was Dr. Spiegel. I'm not even surprised you guys wanted to talk about him. So we're going to talk about him in a second. I have no words for him. No words. So I wanted to wait until closing arguments were done and they just ended. So I'm hoping to get this video up same day today on Friday. We will see. Hopefully so. But I wanted to wait till all the trial was pretty much done. So jury is deliberating as we speak, unless they've already left. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. When I left off on Amber. I believe it was right before the 1 week break. Felt like so much longer than a week for me. I'm just so invested in this trial. I will say that when I first started watching, I've been watching since day one. I have notebooks, 1.5 spiral notebooks full of notes because my brain just comprehends things better when I write stuff down. And it was 6 weeks long. That's a long time. And you guys know I watch a lot of court cases, whatever is online that I can watch and has the full court case. I'm just weird. I'm fascinated with the court and the law and the facts and all the things. So that's just what I like. And if you'd like for me to do videos talking about different trials that I've watched, let me know in the comments because I will definitely do that because I have watched some doozies. Some crazy weird ones. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I went into this with a fully open mind as somebody who has not been in good relationships all of my life. I wanted to hear both sides, but evidence speaks for itself, facts speak for themselves, and I'm leaning more Johnny's side. Just in my opinion, Amber's testimony and the audio tapes that we have heard now that she is fully done, well, the whole entire case is done, those audios, the audio tapes are what get to me the most. If you were really scared of someone and being abused by them, you wouldn't usually speak to them in the way that she did. Usually you would try, I don't know, you would be very turtle-shelled off and very, I don't know, really conscious of what you're saying because you don't want to say anything that's going to trigger that person to snap and do anything to you. But that's my opinion. Can we talk about that one audio tape with that evil laugh? Oh, I can't. Anyway, my brain is getting sidetracked because I have so much information in here. So a bunch of you wanted to know what I thought about Dr. Spiegel. I think he's special. He's a special one. Okay, so Dr. Spiegel, he was the psychiatrist for Amber's team. Well, yeah, the psychiatrist, because Dr. Hughes was the psychologist. Made such a big deal about that. But he reviewed both Dr. Curry's and Dr. Hughes' notes. Of course, he agreed with everything Dr. Hughes says, you know, because he got paid to. He made a big deal about the fact that Johnny's legal team denied him wanting to be interviewed or evaluated by Dr. Spiegel, but the court also denied the request for Johnny to have to be interviewed. And Amber had to be interviewed and evaluated because she was claiming she had PTSD. So that's why she had to, and why Johnny did not have to through the court. So the fact that he kept making a big deal about Johnny's legal team wouldn't let him get evaluated was just, to me, it didn't make sense to me. Why do you keep mentioning that? Because now they get to come back and say, well, the court didn't say he had to. He really made a big deal about Johnny's drug use, which, like, argue about something Johnny hasn't already owned up to, in my opinion. You're just wasting so much time. I don't know. He just came off as very condescending to me, very unlikable. I didn't even want to watch him. The faces he was making, arguing with the lawyers, literally looking at the judge at one point after being asked a question he didn't want to answer and being like, do I need to answer this, Your Honor? It was just so, and you've been an expert before? I don't know. It was just very strange to me. I have multiple notes on this guy. 2 pages worth. So let me go back and find them really quick. I don't know. He was just, I didn't find anything that he said to be credible. Because to me, it almost seemed like he was there to plug his book, if that makes sense. Like when he was being crossed by Mr. Dennison, Dennison said something. I don't remember what he said. He was like, oh, thanks for plugging my book. I don't know. To me, it almost seemed like he was just there for the TV, if that makes sense. I don't know. He was just super weird to me. He was talking around all the questions, didn't really want to, seem like he didn't want to answer them. At one point makes a comment that Johnny is a narcissist. He makes all these diagnoses of Johnny without ever talking to him, ever meeting him, ever evaluating him. And when Johnny's lawyer, Mr. Dennison, asked how he came to these diagnoses of him, he's like, oh, well, I've watched him in commercials and I've watched him as a pirate. You know, for real? How are you going to diagnose somebody based off of characters that they have played? I also thought it was funny when they tried to say that Johnny Depp, at the table throughout the weeks of the trial, him drawing and eating candy also makes him a narcissist. I guess that would mean, I've sat down and drawed and ate candy at the same time, so do with that as you will. I also think that Judge Penny having to tell him multiple times to answer the questions just makes you kind of look bad when you're in there as an expert who has supposedly served as an expert before, and the judge is pretty much having to put you in your place and pretty much tell you, stop rambling and just answer the questions that you're being asked. He kept making a lot of things about himself. I noticed that too. So to me, it did not seem like he was there for the right reasons. I don't feel like anything he said made sense. He made a big deal about the fact that Johnny couldn't remember 3 words after 5 minutes and that somehow impaired his cognitive function, but yet Johnny scored a 27 out of 30 on the test. So I don't know. I don't know. He was a character, and I don't think anybody on the jury is going to remember anything that he talked about. I don't think he is even going to be a person that they talk about during deliberation, but that is just my take on that. You guys will have to let me know what your opinion was of Dr. Spiegel. If you don't remember who he was the one that kind of looked like Doc from Back to the Future and Rick and Morty. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and talk about Amber's makeup artist because I don't feel like they prepped her very well. So she was Amber's makeup artist. She did her makeup before Amber appeared on the James Corden show. She just seemed very proud of herself. Every time they brought up the fact that when Amber was on the James Corden show, it didn't look like she had bruises or anything on her face. And she kept saying, yeah, I did a good job. I did a good job, but I can see it because I covered it up, so I can see it. And then at the same time, in her testimony, says that she has experience in theatrical makeup and creating bruises. So, I don't know. To me, that said a lot, too. That's pretty much what I got from her. I just wanted to mention that really quick because I thought that was interesting, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't talk about that a little bit more later on. I obviously am not going to have time to go through every single witness on here, so I'm just going to talk about the ones that I kind of found interesting. So Amber's current talent agent came up. I can't pronounce her name. Kova Civic or whatever her name is. I thought she was kind of interesting, and I don't understand why they even put her in this trial, because to me, she didn't confirm anything that went with Amber's counterclaims on how she lost anything. She was really, she made it very clear that the deal that Amber had to do Aquaman and what she was going to make was never renegotiated. Nobody tried to negotiate lower with her. And that when Aquaman was done, she still got paid the same. L'Oreal never dropped her. Whether they use her in campaigns or not, they never dropped her. So therefore, she's still getting the same amount of money she would have gotten anyway. I honestly I feel bad for the jury because I feel like there was so much information and so many witnesses thrown at them. I mean, on just one day of Amber's direct, they had, let's see, I have it written down, 12 witnesses in one day. Most of them that day, if I remember correctly, most of them were depositions or live testimonies. Some of them lasted as long as like 13 minutes, maybe even shorter, but it was just, and I feel like so many of them were a waste of time because they would all say, yeah, I was around the both of them. I never saw Johnny hit her or throw anything or kick her. So to me, I don't know if it was like an intimidation type of thing. Like, I'm going to throw all these witnesses in here and make it look like we have this huge solid case. I don't know. That was just what I got from that. It was crazy. I was exhausted by the end of that, and I can only imagine how the jury felt. I've served on 2 jury cases, and I don't know, the one was a week long, and that was a lot, so I can only imagine how they felt with 6 weeks of this. So I'm going to go back to Amber's really quick because I forgot to mention this, and I'm almost done my nails. I thought it was, did you guys hear the pledge versus donate when she was trying to say that she uses pledge and donate synonymous with each other? I mean, if that was the case, I feel like everybody would be pledging to pay their mortgage and their car payments, and it would just be allowed because you pledged it, and it means the same as donate. I think that kind of made her look really bad. I don't know if she thinks that the jury is stupid. I mean, she looked directly at them when she was saying, yeah, I pledged it. I pledged it in the entirety. I thought that was crazy. And then her bringing up Kate Moss and the stare incident. I am pretty sure that the two sides had an agreement before trial that Kate Moss was not going to be allowed to testify unless somebody brought up her name, unless Amber's side brought up her name. That's what I'm thinking. Because if you saw the reaction from Johnny's side as soon as Amber mentioned Kate Moss, like Ben Chew with the fist pump, as soon as he did that, I was like, oh snap. And then during rebuttal, Kate Moss was there. And she made Johnny sound like this heroic, like when she was done talking about Johnny, I was like, I want to date him. I want to date Johnny Depp. Like she said, it had been raining. The steps were slippery. She fell. She was screaming. Johnny came and picked her up and carried her into her room and took care of her. I mean, it was just polar opposite of what Amber's side had been saying the whole time Johnny was like. And then, of course, Dr. Curry came back up for a rebuttal. I love Gabe has a huge little crush on Dr. Curry. I don't blame him. She was up and she was rebutting Dr. Hughes. I just think Dr. Curry is so much more credible. She breaks things down in a way that it was just so easy to understand. She just comes off as very likable and friendly. And she said a lot about how Dr. Hughes just did not administer these tests properly. She didn't use the right test, and then she used tests that she wasn't even supposed to use. There was one that was supposed to be administered with the person within the year of the abuse, and apparently when she did this test with Amber, it had been over a year. So I don't know. And then when Dr. Hughes got called back up again in Amber's redirect, it was just, I don't know. She just came off as a little too aggressive for me. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Oh, can we talk about the TMZ dude? Because when he made that comment to Elaine, if you guys did not see it, you have to look it up. So, they were talking about the video. Which video was it? The cabinet video. So it was sent to TMZ anonymously, supposedly. And then somebody from TMZ, a former manager, field manager, so he was in charge of like dispatching people to, you know, paparazzi type of thing. He got on there and said that, what did he say? I'm trying to remember his words. That pretty much they have to verify, you know, the owner of the copyright before they can post the video. And that if it's coming directly from the source, they can get that video, copyright, and then upload it within 15 minutes. He says that Amber's video was uploaded within 15 minutes of getting it. But the part that I loved so much was, I think Elaine just didn't have anything. So the only thing she could say was pretty much, you want 15 minutes of fame. And he came back with, well, I could say the same thing about you representing Amber Heard. And it was just such a mic drop moment. If you go back and watch that clip, just really watch the people in the gallery and their faces, like their jaws just drop like, oh shit. I mean, the TMZ dude was right. Like, he was risking a lot coming there because, you know, he could potentially be in trouble later on with saying what he said. Even though, I mean, it was like, by the court, he kind of didn't have a choice but to testify. But I do think that he actually reached out. But he said he wanted to help with the timeline and get the real story out there. So that that's what he wanted to do. They had so many witnesses. They had metadata. Each side, of course, had their own. Again, I just found Johnny's more credible because at least when he did his demonstrative pictures, he put the metadata with the picture that he was looking into and doing his, you know, metadata stuff on. The other guy, when he came up and showed his demonstrative, I don't know if you guys watched it. I couldn't even see. Like, it was just the, I don't know, the software info or whatever. There was no pictures. He kept saying, oh, the pictures that I looked at, they were the originals. And I was just sitting there like, where did they come from? Because Johnny's expert, and I was waiting for this because y'all know I've been taking 6 weeks worth of notes. I have the evidence written down. There was 2 different sets of pictures that were the exact same, and Johnny's expert overlapped them to show that they were indeed the same picture, but they were labeled 2 different pictures from 2 very different events, 2 very different incidents. They put Johnny back up for rebuttal at the end of his side's rebuttal. That made me really nervous because during the direct, it went really well. But when Rottenborn started to cross him, it really made me nervous because a couple new things came up that we didn't see before. So I kind of wish they wouldn't have put him up. And I was really nervous after that until they got to Amber's end of her rebuttal and they put Amber up. And I think it went so much more badly for her. So I don't know. And then that was pretty much the end of it. But Camille did her cross again, of course. I love Camille. I think she's badass and she is so good at cross. I kind of wish they would have had her do more of the crosses with the experts because I think Mr. Dennison does really good with like the direct and the redirect with the experts. To me, he didn't do a really good job to me with getting control of the experts when he was doing their crosses. I think they were able to say a lot more than they should have. If it's anything I've learned from watching this trial and all the other trials I've watched, when you're crossing someone, you just want yes or no. You don't want to give them that opportunity to say all this information that the jury can hear and potentially sway them in a different direction. So I don't know. Camille was just real on top of, like with Amber, if Amber started to talk more, Amber was like, Miss Heard, answer my question. Yes or no? Answer my question. So I don't know. I really loved her. And then today we saw the closing statements. I am so disappointed. This is going to make me sound terrible, but I kept telling everybody I talked to, I really wanted to see them run out of time. And I thought it was going to happen today with closing. It was going to be the last chance. I think before they went to lunch, Johnny's side had 39 minutes left. Amber's side had 6. And they somehow made it work. So anyway, you guys have to let me know what you think down below. If you've been watching, who you think is going to win. It's actually a difficult case to win when you look at what the lawsuit is actually about and the defamation. I don't know. I hope they come to a decision soon. Let me know all the things. Let me know if you want me to do more trial talk videos. Thanks for hanging out with me during this one, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.